Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, we're going to talk about something today that we all have, and this is something that can make us super happy, super successful, understand a lot of challenges that we may be presented with. A lot of times you don't know what choices to make in life. You have this special power that will tell you how to do it. It's almost like you're a superhero. Every one of us are a superhero. I'm talking about your tuition, the gut feeling. We all have it. Many of us don't realize it. Many of us don't know to recognize it, but it's everything. And she certainly has harnessed the power of it in many different ways as an animal communicator, as a psychic, and so much more. She's got books, CDs, offers classes, can literally help you connect with animals. And I got to believe a lot of that comes from her intuition. Shirley Scott joins us on the program again. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Steve. How are you doing?
Fantastic. And this is one of my favorite things to talk about.
Okay.
This is how I know we all have intuition. Because I reverse engineer it in my mind, and I think back to all those times that I never used it, or I ignored it. I ignored it, and I can see all those moments of my life, and they're very clear, very clear, life-changing, and I didn't listen, and things didn't go the way they should have. Well, maybe in the universal view of it, maybe that was supposed to go that way, but certainly not the way I wanted it to. So that's why I know intuition is there. And then I test it from time to time in other ways, and it's exactly the way I think things are going to be. How did you realize that you have your intuition and that it's this powerful, I don't want to call it a skill, just a powerful gift that we have?
It is a skill. The skill is learning to listen to it, okay? That's the skill. We all have it. It's a matter of, we've all done something and gone, I knew I wasn't supposed to do that, or I know I was supposed to do that. That's listening to it in the present moment before you actually make the decision in the future. So when you're thinking of making a decision or doing something, and all of a sudden you get, nah, best not do it. And you go, yeah, but I really want to. And you get this, yeah, but maybe you shouldn't do it, but I really want it. And so you go ahead and do it, and then it falls apart, and you go, okay, I should have listened. That is the skill that everybody needs to take a second or two, or, look at and say, I really don't feel right about this, or I feel so good about it, I know it can't fail. In those moments, that's when I believe our soul is telling our brain, hey, you're not supposed to do this, or you are supposed to do it. And we, a lot of time, our little ego gets in the way because we really want to do something. And we move forward with it because it's something that we really want. Now, in a lot of cases, I'm going to say it, and I heard you say this, there are some cases where, yeah, we're supposed to do something that doesn't turn out so we can learn. I really believe humans really don't make mistakes. We learn lessons. And if we can learn from something that goes wrong, then we can certainly learn from something that goes right.
I'm right there with you. And yes, there are, I'm in situations even now where my intuition tells me, stop what you're doing. Come on, stop that. That's not the way it's supposed to be. That situation doesn't support you. But there are reasons that I guess the ego or part of me said, yeah, don't worry. It's okay. And maybe in the situations, it's not the worst thing in the world. But then there was life-changing situations even 30 years ago. I can tell you, I knew the answer. In other situations where I didn't want to see the answer, and I should have listened. But then there's these smaller situations where I will go to a meeting. Let's say it's an event, right? This is all true. I will visualize it before I go. And it's like I've already been there. I already know what to expect. I know what people are going to be talking about, what the dress code is going to be, what the vibe is going to be. And it's all good, not being negative here, but it's more of a, yeah, you were right about that. Or you meet somebody. You're going to meet somebody, you've never met them before. Maybe it's a new client in your field of work, whatever it might be. I've already seen it. I've already played it out in my mind, that situation. Here's what I currently wrestle with. Going down a rabbit hole. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I love that you are. How does one know that they're not manifesting the situation when they've viewed it in advance?
Well, go ahead.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, because I was going to say to you, when we view it in advance and when we put it out there that this is the way it's going to be or this is what we know is going to happen, we are manifesting. We are changing the energy. And I'll give you an example. I had a client one time that did not get along with her mother-in-law at all. And every holiday that they went over there, she just knew they were going to fight and things were going to be nasty. And I told her one day, I said, change that. I said, just go over there with love in your heart. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to work out. And she did, and it did. And it changed the whole dynamics around their relationship because she was not going over there with, we're going to fight. She went over there with love and, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to be okay, and she's going to be okay. And it changed the whole manifestation of their relationship.
Okay. That's manifesting in a good way. What about if you manifest the situation's not going to go well? My intuition is telling me that it's going to go like this, it's going to go like that, and maybe it's not the best case scenario, but you're hearing it. Is it your intuition or are you manifesting the outcome? Okay.
When you start hearing it before you really think about it, you have an intuition that it might go wrong. And sometimes what happens with us is if we have been in the same situation over and over and it goes wrong and it goes wrong and it goes wrong, we go into that, well, I know it's going to go wrong. Instead of saying, no, this time I'm going to change it and I'm going to manifest a different outcome.
Okay.
So our intuition will tell us a lot of times, if we've done something the same way all the time, it's going to happen that way. It's going to go that way. Our intuition can also tell us, we can have an intuition that, this time it's going to be different. I don't know why. I just feel that, I'm going to go into this meeting and it's going to be different. That is your intuition telling you that somehow the energy has shifted and you need to shift your thinking about it and you need to shift. But it also means that our intuition is telling us that something over here in this meeting, something has already shifted, and if we go in with this expectation of disaster, we're probably going to look like an idiot because it's already changed over there. And so when we get that intuition that, wow, this time I think it's going to be different, go in with that and really go in with this different idea and see what happens. But that is an intuition that tells you the energy around something has already changed. Everything in this world is energy. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have to start learning to listen to that energy.
So what I'm getting from you is when you feel something, it's as if your intuition is tipping you off. It's almost like hitting the doorbell. Yeah, I just want to let you know. You might want to pay a little more attention over there. And then it's up to us of how we're going to react. So that, let's say you're going to meet someone for the first time, going to an event or whatever it might be. At that point, maybe it's reasonable to start manifesting a positive outcome if that's what your goal is, as opposed to thinking, like you said, I'll just show up. It's going to be the same situation as it was or very similar. I don't even know why I'm wasting my time, because you probably are.
Right.
You asked for it.
You asked for it. You ask for it. You're asking the universe to bring you the same thing over and over and over. And so you are sort of manifesting. But we have to remember that when this intuition comes to us, we have free will. And humans don't understand free will. They have no idea what free will means, really. And so we have the free will to, when this information comes to us, of accepting it as it is, or saying, I have the power to change this. Your free will is so strong that you can change a lot of things. There are some things you can't, because there are some things that are out of your free will control. But when your intuition is working, you can take that information, and now which way are you going to use it? How are you going to use that message that's coming through that the universe is giving you that says, you need to turn right instead of left? And I tell people, there are times when, you think, I really need to turn right. And you don't know why. And you turn right. And nothing happens. And you think, why did I do that? But you might have avoided an accident because turning left could have taken you into that accident.
Mm.
So there are times when our intuition, we do things and we have no idea why we're doing them, and it seems like nothing has happened, but we have avoided the happening.
Right. We don't know why, but we need to listen to it because there's a reason. There may be, we might not be picking up on that reason at the moment, but we need to listen to our intuition. What do you hear when your intuition is telling you something, good or bad? What comes up for you? Where do you feel it?
I feel it, not only in my head, because I get messages pretty clearly, but I feel it in my skin. I know that sounds funny, but I will get certain goosebumps in my skin a lot of times over different things. And so I know truth. If something is true, a lot of times I will get goosebumps, where if it's not true, I don't. But then I'll get this weird feeling in my body of that's not right. It's just this knowing that's not right. And then if I walk into a place, if I walk into a haunted house, I get goosebumps if it's really haunted. If it's not haunted, I don't get goosebumps. But if there's a presence or an energy there, I will get a different feeling in my body and in my skin. And so I've honed in on those feelings. And when I walk into a room full of people, I walk in with a very positive attitude, and then I scan the room. And I can look at different people and go, don't go to them, or, stay away from them, or go over here, or these people are friendly, those people aren't. And I've learned to do that. And that is your intuition telling you, what's safe and what isn't. And that's what animals do. Their intuition tells them this is safe or this isn't. And because humans don't do that often, we've lost that a lot. And we let our ego take over.
Hmm. Is it always the ego? Is that what's getting in the way?
Yep. Yeah, It is. It's the ego. It's the ego of, I want this. I want to do this. Ego. And sometimes your subconscious will help take over, but most of the time it is really ego, and it gets in the way of a lot of stuff. A long time ago, I saw my ego as this little man, and when he starts giving me a bad time, I tie his hands up, put duct tape on his mouth, and throw him in a closet, and that's my ego. So, and I have trained my subconscious over years and years of working not to run my life. So it's a matter of practice. Nothing comes without practice.
Very important. You'll know after practice.
Yeah.
That feeling. For me, it's a lighter feeling. When the intuition is saying, this is the way to go, it's a lighter feeling. Mm-hmm. Almost as if it's a, quote, too good to be true, end quote, feeling. And then the logic comes in and your mind says, come on, it can't be that easy. No. Life is not that easy. No, don't pick that. That's the wrong choice. You got to work at this. No, it's the easier feeling, because usually the incorrect choice is the heavier feeling.
Absolutely.
Within.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. That heavier feeling is telling you that this is not the right way to do this. This is not for you. And the universe's promise to us is, if we're on our path and we're really listening, everything will roll out before us, which is easy, which is lightning. It's this lighter feeling where when you're trying to do something that you're not supposed to do anyway, it's like beating your head against the wall. There's a saying, don't try to row upstream. And that's what your intuition is. Your intuition is saying, hey, go over here. It's going to be easier. You're going to, maneuver better through your life. You're going to get messages sooner. All this is going to happen much easier. And then you're right. Your ego, steps in and goes, yeah, but I've heard you can't do that. And so your subconscious too goes, I heard you can't do that. I heard that it's going to be tough. Everybody says that if you do it this way, it's going to be tough. And we kind of listen to that, and we get trained as we grow up. You can't do that. How many times did your parents say, well, you can't do that? When my parents told me that, they quit doing it at the age of 4, because I just go do it, I was one of these kids that, if you told me not to do it, that's the first thing I'm going to do, okay? And so we've been trained through growing up that, you know what, if you do it that way, it's going to be hard. But if you watch many, many successful people, they go, you know what, it wasn't that hard. I was told to do this. I felt I needed to do this. I felt I needed to go this way. I mean, how many people during COVID quit their jobs and thought, I need to start my own business, or I need to go someplace else? And they did it. And were they scared? Yeah, they were scared to death, because they were, going in a different direction. But they had this gut feeling. And I have to kind of say that COVID did a lot for people, because they were sitting at home. They got in touch with their inner self. They got in touch with their intuition, because they weren't as busy on the outside. And that's another thing, that humans get so busy. I tell people we're supposed to be human beings, not human doings. And we get so busy doing stuff that we forget to check in.
Wow. You crystallized all those years of COVID in a great way. That is what drove a lot of people to change the check-in. They checked in with themselves. They checked in with their intuition. It made them see things in a different way. Like, why am I going to work every day slaving away for that boss who really doesn't care? There's no loyalty. Why am I doing this? I'm home now. Let me take a class in insert whatever, and let me start a new business. Let me go in a different direction. Let me find maybe my purpose.
Exactly. Exactly. Hundreds of my clients have done that. And they call me before they would, do it. And we would look at it, and we would, I would look at their future and say, yeah, this is good. And, it's going to be a little tough. You're going to hit a little few bumps, but you're not going to hit a wall. And as long as you don't hit that wall, and you have to, in universal law, you have to put out what you want back. I tell people, if you sit around waiting for, something to happen, you're not going to get it, because you put out nothing, you get nothing back. So you have to take these steps forward. And every day they would take 1 or 2 or 3 steps in the direction that they were going, and things would start rolling in, and it would get better, and it would get easier. And pretty soon they would call me, and they'd say, wow, this is what's really happening. And now I feel like I need to continue. I have this need in me to continue. And I would support them, and off they'd go. And many of my clients did that. But it was the check-in of, what am I doing? I'm in this job that I don't like, and I don't know what to do. And the fear of getting out of it held them back for a while.
Believe me, nobody, that's your livelihood. Yeah, how many people are going to say, I'm just not going to do it anymore. I'm going to try something different. You have rent, mortgage, car payments, kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
But if you listen to your intuition and you've fine-tuned it, you have that faith in what it's presenting you with.
Exactly. And you have to know that intuition is different than brain. Our brain is stupid. I mean, we're born and we know nothing. We have absolutely nothing. We have to be taught how to eat. We have to, be taught how to, grab things and walk, and we have to be taught all that because our brain is like a blank computer, and our soul and our knowing inside will feed our brain information, and it feeds it, and it feeds it. And so our intuition and our brain are different, but the intuition actually feeds the brain and says, don't you feel like we should do this? And then the brain goes, yeah, but, and the intuition goes, yeah, but what if it turns out right? Humans have this great thing of going, yeah, but what if it turns out wrong? I hardly ever hear anybody say, but what if it turns out right?
That's a really great point. we don't do that.
No, we don't.
We've said that ego is what gets in the way. Is that ego? I don't necessarily. Well, I believe it's ego. Yes, I do. But I also equate it to something called logic. Is it the same thing?
Yes and no, because a lot of times our ego knows logic, but it knows the logic on a general instead of logic for us.
Trying to process that. So it knows, ultimately, it really is your ego. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Because ego can be really good or really bad. Okay? Ego can say, you know what, you're really good at what you do and it's okay. And you can say that. I'm really good at animal communication and I'm a really pretty good psychic. And it's okay to say that. What I don't say is, I'm the best. I'm the best there ever was and ever. That is ego out of control. Because I know there's always somebody better out there. But yet I'm good at what I do. If you're a good rock climber, it's okay to say you're a good rock climber. That's okay. But you don't want to say, you know what, nobody's ever going to be better than me. That's out of control ego. So ego has a place in us. It does. It has to. It's keeping that ego in check. So when your ego says, or when your intuition says, I really think I want to try that, and ego goes, what if you're not any good at it? Now that's kind of an out of balance ego, because our ego can say, you're really good at something or you really suck at something, So you have to have this, and then you say to your ego, well, you know what, maybe I'll just try it because I feel like I need to do it. And your ego says, oh, okay, let's give it a try then. So there's this coming together of a balanced ego with your intuition and your knowing.
So to the point, I have an event I'm scheduled to go to tomorrow. I don't have to go. It's a business connection kind of thing. And honestly, I'm not negative, but I've been to other ones before. Even this event and year before, whatever. In my mind, I've already seen it. And it's like, yeah, I'll show up, see some people I haven't seen in a while. Is there going to be a benefit to me, business-wise? Is there going to be an opportunity? In my mind, it's just like, I'll make the appearance. But talking with you today, I'm thinking I should reframe it. Yes, my intuition says these are the pieces, but now reframe it saying, yeah, you know what? It's worth going. You're going to meet somebody that's going to be influential. It's going to be a good thing. Am I thinking the right way?
You are. Yes, because I see this business venture. You're going to meet some people there that, you make some connections, see some people you haven't seen for a while. Mm-hmm. But, if you go with just that, like, okay, this is a social event, that's what it's going to be. I think you should go with the intent that there's going to be at least one, if not two people that are going to give you some ideas about what to do with your next adventure that you are looking into. And so you're going to be looking at this social event now as a fact-finding or helping you get some ideas and some information about your next step in life.
Time to make sure the suit is pressed. I love the way you look at things. And yes, it's like, why wouldn't you think that? Why wouldn't you? But we don't, myself included. It's just like, yeah, I'll just show up. And to your point, I will see people I haven't seen in my industry in a while. Hey, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah. All right, that's perfectly fine, but I could have been doing something else. Now I'm going to look at it in a different way, that this is going to be beneficial. And again, this is just an example.
Yeah.
Apply it to other situations.
If we go into every situation where I'm going to find out something new, I'm going to meet somebody new, something's going to be beneficial for me. Mm-hmm. Something will come out of that. You know, and it's just like a lot of ladies will call me and go, I want to meet a guy, but I go to all these things and or I don't go to them because I know nobody's going to be there. And I go to them and meet as many people as you can, because it may not be the people that you are meeting, but it might be their friend.
Right. We never look at it that way. And what you just said, I can totally relate to. That's for another podcast. You said the word intent, and that is one of my driving words in the past year, intention. It's about the intention you put into it, no matter what it is, intent. And thank you for saying that. Thank you for today. How do we intentionally find you to change our lives, communicate with our animals, get a psychic reading? What do we do?
Well, you go on the internet and you type in Shirley and then _Scott.com. That's my website. There's a contact page there. It's easier to email me because I can't get text where I live because I live in the middle of nowhere. And then we set up an appointment by phone, and I would love to help anybody that would like to call about their animals or themselves and explain intention to them too, because you're right. The intent is where it's at.
I picture you as this wise guru on the mountaintop. That doesn't have cell service, because you intentionally, through your intuition, as we discovered previously, moved to this area. Yeah. And cell service is spotty. It is what it is, but we can still find you.
Yeah. One of these days I'm going to get Starlink, and then I'll have cell phone service, and I'll probably be sorry, but I'm going to do it maybe.
Well, yeah, use your intention and your intuition on that.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for today, Shirley. Really appreciate it.
Okay, talk later.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Let's go inside the mind of a 10-year-old.
I should have worn those earrings today. I like those earrings. Gabby has those awesome earrings. I need to ask her where she got those, but that's just what she would want me to do. I'll have Michaela ask her for me.
Buckle up, Sarah.
Yeah, but then Michaela will be like, why don't you just ask her yourself? That's just like Michaela.
Sarah, buckle up.
Michaela's such a great name. I wish I was called Michaela. There's like a dozen Sarahs in my class.
Hey, we're not hitting the road until you buckle up, honey.
Oh yeah, seatbelt. I forget sometimes because my brain is like busy, you know? I wonder if there's pizza at school today.
Sometimes it can be tough to get through to your kids, but it's not impossible. Always make sure they're wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Remember, you have the keys, you have the power. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.